Okay, so you've decided to start a brand new website and you don't have budget for a premium domain name. In other words, you just got $100 in your pocket and you want to start somewhere. I totally respect that. In fact, that's how most of my businesses have started. Okay, before we get into the tools and the methods to find your first previously unregistered domain name, I think it's important to cover several ground rules for registering your first domain. So, number one, don't register somebody else's brand. You will get in trouble. Well, I mean, you get a cease and desist, or at the very least, your domain will just get conquested by the originating brand or something like that. I used to work at a registrar in Denver, Colorado, and it was interesting that almost daily there would be a person that would show up who would be serving papers, cease and desist letters to us, the registrar, and it was just a stack of papers that said, you know, your customer on this date registered purplenikeshoes.com. Please take it down. And that's just one example. If you register somebody else's brand, that's just not cool. It's not something you can build a business on. Exact match domains, like in other words, putting like an SEO keyword as your domain name, no longer gives you very good benefit. In fact, back in September, I believe, of 2012, Google rolled out a EMD update, the exact match domain update. And so what that did is it made exact match domains less relevant in search results. It used to be pretty darn easy to rank a very minimal site. I did it over and over and over. I would register these very specific keywords as a domain.com, and then I would put basically 5 pages of content up, and they would rank as long as you had very minimal on-page SEO and internal linking and had a good product. And so I loved that formula, and it was awesome until September 2012. Okay, there's another important rule that you should never use like a hyphen in your domain name. I'm guilty of this. I used to do it. Also numbers. For the most part, you won't ever need or want to put a number in your brand, unless it is, of course, part of your brand and it makes you stand out. Okay, the first tool we're going to look at together is the Shopify business name generator. Now, we're not going to use this tool to actually register our domain. You might choose to later if this is the platform that you're building on. If you're selling something online, that's fine. But let's say, for example, today we are just looking at a spa. Let's say I want to register a local spa business or something that might be spa related. So I'm going to use this tool just to put together combinations of words that I like. Again, we're not trying to like go exact match domain, but we're just trying to put together some combinations of words that might make sense, something we might want to build a brand on. So I've searched the word spa. It's going to give us 100 results. And what we're going to do is on page 1 here, we're just going to copy over this list, just left click and drag. And then I'm going to copy, Command C or Control C. And we're just going to use good old fashioned Excel. I'm just going to do paste values. Now you could use a script, of course, if you're advanced on the technical side, Python or whatever, but for the quick and dirty method, just use Excel. So I'm going to go ahead and take all the spaces out of this column. I'm just going to do Control H, Command H on your keyboard. If you're on a Mac, I'm going to replace, you can actually replace the space. I'm trying to take out the space in between these words. Just hit the space bar under Find and Replace. If you replace all with nothing, it's basically going to take out this space right here. And that is perfect. I'm going to get rid of spa because I know spa.com is not available. And most of these will not be available. Let's go ahead and put in .com. Again, we only want .com. You'll notice there are no hyphens in here. I don't know if there's any brands in here. That will be yet to be determined. And what we're going to do is use a concatenate function. It's going to go equal on the keyboard. Type in CONCA. You'll see this concatenate function right here. What this does is just going to put these 2 columns together. And I'm just going to close that with a parenthesis. What we're just doing is putting together the 2 words, no spaces, with a .com extension. And I'm going to drag that down so that it copies everything down. And then the last step here is, because this is a formula, there's no actual no data in there. I'm going to paste. Oops, I cleared my palette there. Let me copy this. Let me go paste special. I'm just going to paste values. Okay, so now we've got a list of keywords with the .com put together. Let's now take this list, and I'm just going to copy this list. Let's jump on over now to the GoDaddy bulk domain search. If you go to Google and just search GoDaddy domains bulk domain search, you will find this page. I've got 59 items. I've already got the .com in here, which is fine. You can also drop in a keyword list, you know, the without the .com, and then you can select .com as an extension. But since I've already got the .com in here, we're just going to go with this. Also, as you can note here, that this is import file. You can just import a CSV or Excel or something like that. We're going to look at new registrations. We are limited now to 21 new domains, never registered before. Well, they could be expired and nobody picked them up. But these are fresh domains at, and the reason they say, by the way, a penny, I think GoDaddy currently is like $18 for 2 years, or the first year is like a penny. And then the next year they charge 18. I think that's what's going on. So, but the important thing is to note that this is the starting point. There's no premium pricing built in. If you go to premium, you'll notice that, yeah, you got some of the keywords from our list are premium domains, including some crazy expensive ones. Wow. Who would pay $59,880 for turquoise spa? Definitely not worth it. But let's take a look at this. So what you're going to do is just look at this list, and potentially there is something that might be your brand. Of course, the final checklist here is to go through and make sure none of these are trademarked, make sure these look okay on paper and on screen. Related to that note, let me just go over here to Brand Bucket. Now, Brand Bucket is a premium domain search tool, right? But I'm going to go ahead and just search the word spa. I know these are all previously registered, but the thing I like about Brand Bucket is it gives you some really interesting ideas. It gives you some context as far as what keyword or word combinations look like together. It obviously gives you some branding ideas. It's a really good place to just get excited, I think, about your brand. If I'm looking at just this list, you know, not too exciting, but what if this brand Instinct Spa, that sounds pretty cool. That makes sense. If we were to do that one, you know, what would that look like? Cilantro. That is such a cool idea. Get the little cilantro on the edge. So that is the process for discovering a new domain name, potentially your future brand. It's pretty exciting when you can find something that just in less than 20 minutes, you can go and find something that might be great. Another general rule I always tell people is just sit on the domain, do this keyword search with the business name generator more than once. You know, spend some time, start with a big list. We only went through, 100 and then winnowed it down to like 59. I would suggest getting a big list. If you get like 1,000 words, you can do 500 at a time, I think, with the GoDaddy bulk generator, same with name.com. But you can just spend some time on this. Don't be a trigger happy domainer. Just to summarize this process again, only go for .coms. I think they're the best. Don't conquest anybody's brand. Also avoid doing any kind of hyphenated domains or numbers in the domain name. You want to watch out for doing anything that is like exact match keyword. One last piece of advice too, something I heard from Gail Goodman. She's the former CEO of Constant Contact. They discovered that radio ads, believe it or not, terrestrial radio was a key marketing tactic for Constant Contact. And she described it as just because small businesses, their target market, were listening to the radio all day long at work. So their radio ads included the name constantcontact.com, very memorable. Think about your domain name in that light. Well, what if this domain was spoken out loud to a friend, to a colleague? If you heard it on the radio, would you memorize this, or would you remember this domain to go back to it? And would you want to share it? If it's a really bad brand and it looks funny on paper, you probably won't share it. There's some really funny stories out there, by the way. If you've ever looked up like funny domains and unintentionally inappropriate domains. It's hilarious. But I wish you the very best of luck as you start your first business. Hope it's awesome for you. Your first domain name is a really critical step, and you definitely want to spend some time to get it right.